Testing, testing. Hello, hello. I'm trying to have a new setup with a microphone, try to clear my voice a little better. So hopefully this is working. I don't know. I don't have anybody to confirm with me as of yet. But hopefully as I continue in this message, when people do join in, that you can let me know if you hear me clearly. I'll ask from time to time as well, just to make sure that the audio is working here. Amen. So, well, I know it's kind of a short notice, but I had to move the time back a little bit later than what I usually do, around about 6:30 on these evenings. What I want to do is a little something different. Mr. Everett, blessings to you. Good to have you this evening. Yeah, like I said, I want to do something just a little tad bit different. I'm going out on a limb, stretch out on faith actually, and see if I can answer any questions that may arise in people's hearts and minds. That's what I'm going to open this invitation to for the front half of this message, this lesson. So yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to type them. Feel free to even if you want to go live with me, we can do that. So yeah, just wait on anybody to come in and do that. So like I said, I ask from time to time just to make sure that the audio is clear. So Mr. Everett, I see you on here. Is the audio clear? Apostle Yap, it's a blessing to have you along. Good to have you this evening. Ms. Collins Hill, good to see you this evening. Glad to have you. But like I was saying, I just want to ask you guys if the audio is working. I'm trying something new. Got a microphone there. I'm trying to see if the audio just comes out a little better, a little clearer for you guys. So, like I said, for the first half, I will be just taking questions. If anybody has anything that comes to mind. Apostle Yap, I received those blessings. Thank you. Same to you and your household as well. So yeah, just let me know, you guys, if this audio is working. I'm actually on vacation right now. Well, not really vacation. It's actually a family reunion. So just had to get away to the side a little bit and carry on the duty and obligation that I have to Yahweh. So, like I said, it was just having this thing open for questions. Anybody want to come and answer? Need an answer to anything? Have a curiosity about anything? So just let me know. And I'd like to have confirmation that the audio is working fine with this microphone. Just trying to have some clarity in the audio and the vocals. But as we work up to this message here, while I'm still waiting on questions, I'm going to actually be reading from the book of Colossians. In the first chapter. We actually referred to it last week. We referred to the book of Colossians last week, and so we're just going to elaborate a little bit more on the writing of Paul that he has in this particular text. So no one has approached with any questions, so still putting it out there, and I hope and pray that the vocal is good to go. So all right. Well, you guys that are on right now, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. And hopefully that also opens the invitation to people that come on at a later time and see the invitation that is there. Maybe some people will begin to present certain questions that are pressed on their heart. So, like I said, we're going to be reading from Colossians, the first chapter, 9th and 10th verse, actually. So, just want to read that, and then we'll go into the lesson a little bit, okay? So, without further ado, if we have no questions, then we'll go with that. All right, I'll do that. Okay, so guys, here we go. Verse 9 of Colossians, first chapter. This is Paul writing here. For this cause, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to desire that ye might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding, that ye might walk worthy of Yahweh unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of Yah. And since that's such a short selection, I just feel the need to read that again so we can really get this embedded in our minds and hearts. Okay, so I'm gonna read it one more time, okay? For you guys that are following along, verse 9 of Colossians, first chapter. For this cause, we also, this is Paul writing now, we also, since the day we heard it, do not cease to pray for you and to desire that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. Listen to what he's saying. That you might walk worthy of Yahweh unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of Yahweh. Yahweh, bless the reading of your word. Okay, so let's go into this thing, all right? So what Paul was saying basically to the saints and the faithful people at Colossae, that's who he was writing to at this time. What he was basically saying was I heard through the grapevine about y'all guys, how you accepted the word of truth and of the branches that are bearing forth fruit. The gospel of revelation that was made known to me about you guys. Okay, and the gospel of revelation that was made known to me, the hidden mystery. Okay, and so he also was saying that, and my prayer is that you might be filled with the knowledge of his will in all wisdom and spiritual understanding. There's something indeed that is only revealed to those whom only the Spirit choose. Okay, we're just going to touch on that a little bit, because that arises a question: what do you mean by that? Well, and another letter that Paul wrote, Ephesians, in the 3rd chapter of Ephesians, he said that the revelation is given me to you, whereby as I write, when you read, you may understand my knowledge in the mystery of Christ. Okay, and so and then verse 5 goes on to say, which in other ages was not made known. It was not made known unto the sons of men, and this is now revealed unto his holy apostles and prophets by the Spirit. Okay, so that's that selection. Okay, and Paul also said that in that book, he said that my prayer is for your inner growth, and I bow my knees. I'm praying unto the Father that you grow to know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge. It passes regular knowledge, that you might be filled with all the fullness of Yah. Okay, and so it's the intimacy that goes beyond the surface of mere representation, mere sweet talk. Okay, and you enter into a comprehension of the breadth and length and depth and height. You know, the deeper things, the deep calling out to deep. Okay. And when we hear that, we first, you know, deep calling out to deep. When we hear that, we first assign that deepness to ourselves. You know, deep calling out to deep, like I'm trying to get you to where I'm at, type of deal. Well, you know, but you know, in all actuality, when it comes to Yahweh, we're not deep at all. We're not deep at all. It's really the love of Christ that draws us to His deepness. You know, and His understanding, not our own understanding. Lean not to your own understanding. You know, so it's His deepness that's drawing us to Him, to His understanding. Okay, and so He's calling out to those that submit completely to His will, because of our love for Him. You know, He's calling out to those that will submit completely to His will because of our love for Him. How much do we love Him to submit completely to His will? You know, so in this letter, if we read between the lines in this letter, if we read between the lines, I'm not talking about just those two verses that I extracted, but, you know, start from the beginning, read even further than verse 10. You know, just reading between the lines in the conversation that Paul had there, speaking to the people at Colossae, we'll see that, you know, in actuality, Paul is ecstatic. He's ecstatic about the sold out saints and the faithful brethren that are at Colossae. You know, he's ecstatic for the love of the Spirit of Christ that is witnessed in them by the faithful minister Epaphras. And so he's ecstatic about the unity, you know. And so if we refer to another letter that Paul wrote, we'll notice that this is exactly what Paul longs for. He longs for this. He longs for the people in the book of Romans, as well as others like the book of Philippians. You know, in Romans, he said, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, for the Master, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, for His sake, for the love of the Spirit, that you strive together with me in prayer to Yahweh for me. Okay, and so he also speaks of being he's asking for the people to be like-minded and having the same love, being of one accord, and of one mind, with one mind. And so he's saying, you know, let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ, that you humble yourself. That's one thing that we have to really get to. We have to humble ourselves and be obedient unto death, just as Christ was. And so, and that you'll shine as lights in the world. You know, we're supposed to be the salt of the earth. You know, we're supposed to season the earth. The earth is supposed to season us. You know, and I'll refrain from going further with that. But what world I'm talking about? I'm talking about this world of darkness. This world of darkness, okay? And I'm not just talking about me being out here on the balcony and it's getting dark. I just got a few lights trying to shine on me right now. But I'm talking about this world in the spirit realm, this world of darkness. And you know, and you do that by holding fast to the word of life, the word of light, and neglecting the rudiments of the world. You know, you refer to that scripture, rudiment is imperfect appearance, or imperfect form of worship. That's what rudiment is. And so, you know, our intimate and true love of Yahweh through the Spirit, Yeshua, will draw us to worship Him in spirit and in truth. Okay, and not by the casual ways and doctrine of men. Okay, and you know, connecting our worship of Him to compromised customs, you know, basically that are reared from the world, does not reflect true intimacy of his calling that he has, like in Deuteronomy, when he says, "Come out from among them, because their ways, their customs are vain." Okay, did I say Deuteronomy? That's mixed with Jeremiah as well. But yeah, the ways and the customs are vain. And so what he's saying, their tradition is set on things of the world and not of me. That's what Yahweh is saying. And so with those customs of the world that are vain, those ceremonies, Yahweh is saying, I have been put on the back burner. My glory is not only shared, but it is forgotten. It's neglected. And the only way to bring Yahweh back to the forefront where his glory is not shared is to abide in his word and follow the statutes and commandments of his word, not man's word, his word. And so, not putting on a show of traditional fashion, okay? Just going through the motions. Matthew 15:8-9 says they draw nigh to me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. In vain they do worship me, teaching his doctrines to commandments of men. Just because a group has established this as the way, what does the word have to really say about that? Does the word support it? Do their ways support the word? And so that's what we really got to get to, the deeper things that are hidden and found in the word that we are missing. For a lack of numerous things thereof. Okay. And so, two references to vain worship among many, like Jeremiah 10 and Matthew 15. Actually 3, Isaiah 29. But with those references, you can take that information and decipher the meaning, what it's really said, because a lot of people that don't have the true intention of Yah in them will twist word to their benefit. Okay, and so. And what does the word say? They that err in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmur shall learn the truth as it is found in the word. Okay, so when Paul wrote this part of the letter to the brethren at Colossae, he began verse 9 with saying, for this unification in the spirit, since the day we heard it, we do not cease to pray for you. Hey, Pops, blessings to you. Good to see you this evening. Give Mama Nadine my love as well. And so, the unification in the spirit, we don't, before that cause that I heard about, that you guys got going on, me and my people are not going to cease to pray for you. We're ecstatic about this thing, right? And so our prayers are going to what he's saying. Our prayers, he's saying to them, our prayers are going to strengthen you and empower you so that you go to the next level. Don't just stay right there on the common things. Messing around with the rudiments. Let's bring this thing up. Let's get to the deeper things of this word. And so he's saying that our prayers are going to strengthen you and empower you so that you go to the next level of wisdom and spiritual understanding. And Mr. Bean, blessings to you. Good to see you this evening. And so the wisdom and spiritual understanding so that you walk worthy. What does this word say in verse 10? That you walk worthy of Yahweh unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of Yah. Okay? And so I won't take too much time on this. I won't take too much time on this, but people, we, man has time and again erred in the faith, in improperly dividing the word of truth. Whatever reason there may be behind it, whatever reason there may be that's enforcing it, we have indeed been victim of it. Okay, and so 2 Timothy chapter 3 refers to people ever learning, but never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. And so some people will take that and think that they don't supposed to ever expand their horizon. They don't ever supposed to expand their horizon. I put it into biblical context. Okay, they don't think that Yahweh is supposed to enlarge their territory. Enlarge their territory of understanding Him. Usually with that mind frame of thinking, they don't make any effort in going deeper and finding the hidden things. Searching out the hidden things. Seeking you shall find. Asking the door shall be open. Asking it shall be given. Knocking the door shall be open. Okay? And so, here's a news flash. You going to church and shaking your head at everything the preacher says is not going to get it. That's the news flash. It's not going to get it. We have to know this word for ourselves. We need to have a relationship with Him and not no kind of watered down, compromised relationship. I'm speaking of an intimate relationship, a deep relationship here. Okay. And so, if in actuality, if we really think of the concept here, if we were not to increase in the knowledge of Yah, which is the same as coming into the knowledge of truth, then it wouldn't have been mentioned in Colossians chapter 10. Colossians first chapter verse 10. I'm sorry, glad I did go back. But what did he say? He said that you might walk worthy of Yahweh unto all pleasing, being fruitful in every good work and increasing in the knowledge of Yah. So yes, we are supposed to increase in the knowledge of Him. All right. And so that was my whole reason of getting, that was my point of, getting to that. But, and we saw a couple of weeks back, with Elijah, when we were speaking about him, when he was discouraged, he was just discouraged. And he was thinking that all who stood, for truth were gone and he was the only one left. Miss Williams, blessings to see you. Blessings to you. Good to see you this evening. And so, yeah, Elijah was thinking all who stood for truth were gone and he was the only one left, right? And so, and the thing about it is that Yah has his appointed ones that refuse to bow to Baal. That's what we also saw with that, because Elijah thought he was the only one, but Yahweh still had some reserve. And so, in His Spirit, through the love of His Spirit, we are connected and unified. Okay, and so even when it seems you're by yourself, we have a connection, and the connection is Him. And so, another point I wanted to make. Okay, so when Yahweh told Elijah in 1 Kings chapter 19, he said, "Go return on thy way." In other words, he was saying well, first of all, he asked him several times. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? That's what he was asking him. You know, you know, why are you in this mind state? Why are you stuck like this, Elijah? You know who I am, okay? And so basically what he was saying when he told him go on your way, you keep on doing what you're doing, okay? Don't worry about everything else. I got you. Soon I'm gonna add to you, and I also have my arsenal ready and reserved for the appointed time that these people that stand for truth, okay? You think you're the only one, but I got people that stand for truth and righteousness and have not bowed the knee to Lord Satan, to Baal. And y'all are connected, okay? You know, and so Baal, Lord Satan, yes. And why would I say that? Lord Satan. Well, Baal is just Baal is just another word or name or title for Lord, for Lord. Okay? And you know, if you don't believe me, look it up. Look it up. That'll settle, you know, any doubt. Okay? And so, you know, like my pops, Apostle Earthy Gaskin always says, trust but verify. Trust but verify. It's very important that you do that because it helps you even more when you verify things. But so, see, I believe when we finally grasp the concept that man by itself is still evil continually, just as man was back in Genesis. You know, when the word says that, and the thoughts of man were only evil continually. You know, and so, you know, when we finally grasp that concept that that's how man is, that's the makeup of man, you know, we'll begin to realize that man has always been corrupt in his own way. I'm getting to a point there. I'm getting to a point here, but you know, we were born in sin, okay, and so man has not always been honest, okay, and man, when put in position of power or authority, he has the opportunity, if he can, and he will, you know, manipulate things to attract and gravitate and influence others to compromise the truth. Okay, and so, but remember this though. Remember this, because I'm talking about man. But remember this: we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powers, against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Remember the world of darkness. And so, so first and foremost, we gotta know to discern who has been behind the curtain enforcing the agenda. Okay, and so that the agenda that is either sugarcoating or pushing to deviate others from the truth, or and causing man to operate under the spirit of compromise. Okay, and basically what the enemy's agenda is, he's trying to eliminate the truth. Okay, and so and man now under this influence, he has let the enemy deceive us through his craftiness. Okay, we've been deceived through his craftiness. Okay, and so yes, the corruption is the acts of man, but the acts of the corruption comes from the enemy. Follow me? And so basically, who was more crafty than any beast of the field? Okay, and so and when certain people are you know, allow the enemy to use them, the enemy, the agenda of the enemy, you know, gets set in place. Okay, and so, and really, you know, when I'm speaking of man and certain individuals that have had this happen in places of authority, is basically too many to name. Okay, but you know, I'll pinpoint a couple. You know, but they're, you know, they're all Satan's attempt to defy Yahweh and his authority. You know, one that you've heard several times over is Nimrod. Okay, The mighty hunter before Yahweh. And that word before is if you look it up in the Hebrew, you'll find that it also means against. So the mighty hunter against Yahweh. So, he was used by Satan to enforce worship other than the pure worship of Yahweh. He rebelled against Yahweh, and that is indeed what his name means. His name means rebel. Okay, look it up. And so, the foundation of his frontier, Babylon. Okay, it produced the Canaanites. Okay, and so the Canaanites worship the god Baal, and like I said, Baal means Lord. And so Baal was also believed to be the ruler of heaven and the god of the sun, the S-U-N, not S-O-N, yes, U-N. Okay, and Baal actually was the son of El, which is a Canaanite deity. Look it up. El is a Canaanite deity. Okay, the Canaanites. And so just look it up. And another one that I hadn't really spoke too much on is also Constantine. Constantine, another man in his time of authority, he used his power to enforce the change of the Sabbath to the invincible day of the sun, the S-U-N, sun. Okay, sun day. All right. And so, and also merging pagan and biblical traditions. Trying to basically, I don't know if he was trying to make everybody happy or himself happy. I don't know, or a certain group of people happy. I don't know. But at the same time, just merging those tradition, biblical word and pagan traditions. Those things are, and these things are basically still celebrated today. They are celebrated today. Okay, and they have various names to them. And this switch and the merging has caused the ecclesia to worship the one true and living under the umbrella of Satan's devices to contaminate the true worship of Yahweh. Okay? And so think about it. If things that originally inhabit his spirit, talking about Satan, Hasatan, the deceiver, if it originally inhabits his spirit, if it originally possessed his spirit and then it merged with the worship of the God of the Bible, Yahweh, what is truly happening in the ecclesia today? It's a question. And Yeshua the Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach, he came to set the captives free and to reestablish proper worship. But what has prevented man from fulfilling proper worship is the great falling away. Because if he's came and established proper worship, set the captives free. That's what he said he came for. And so if that's not going on now, then there must have been a great falling away, and it was passed down and blended, through blended tradition. And so, and the alarming thing, is that when people present this to others, tell or show the truth to expose the deception of the enemy, instead of trusting and verifying or just going to verify it, it mainly persecution comes, and the people that are exposing, the enemy, they end up being the ones, that are persecuted. They end up being the ones that get called the ones that are falling away. If the people that are exposing the enemy are the ones falling away, what are they falling away from? Lies. Okay, I'll give you that. Falling away from lies, I give you that. You know, let no man deceive you. Don't be deceived by the lies of the enemy and continue in the trap of the tradition that abides in the lie. Okay, and so that's being deceived. That's being deceived. And so, talking about these lies, right? Because you have Christmas. You know, most of us know that Christmas is a lie. There's no argument there. Christmas is a lie. You know, it's no red-nosed reindeer flying around through the air with a fat man dropping off gifts to every household in the world. Come on, man. You know, Easter is a lie. It's no bunny rabbit going around laying eggs. Eggs? A rabbit laying eggs? Come on, man. You know, Valentine's, another lie. You know, the portrayal is actually it's a demon. You know, as an angel of light that shoots you with his arrow and promotes and he promotes you to perform acts of lust. Well, I actually see that as a view of truth. That is actually a view of truth, because it's not love as the way it's told. It's lust. So that is the truth. But you know, when you're told that it's love, that's a lie. Another lie. You know, and Halloween, that's from the pits of hell. That's exactly where it came from the pits of hell. But somehow the spirit of jack-o'-lantern is supposedly, you know, every year it comes around. The spirit of jack-o'-lantern is on holy ground. It's supposed to be holy ground, right? You know. Now Moses couldn't have his shoes on holy ground, but you could put jack-o'-lantern on holy ground. Some don't head up there. I'm just saying. You know, but you know, and you know, the trunk or treat. You know, that's what I'm talking about. And the jack-o'-lantern tradition came from the Celts that practiced sorcery. These people practiced sorcery and magic. And on the most eventful night of this practice, the lanterns. This is talking about the jack-o'-lantern here. The lanterns were supposedly to lit up to ward off spirits from playing tricks on the residents of the house. Okay. Hence the phrase trick or treat. But that's what you have your kids participating in. You know, they're actually the spirits that are coming to the doorstep saying trick or treat. And your jack-o'-lantern is supposed to be the one that wards off the evil spirit. That's the whole concept. Now, that's the truth in the concept that's happening that is a lie. You know, but we say it's okay. It's okay to trunk or treat or call it holy night. That's a lie. Ain't nothing holy about what goes on in this pagan practice. You know, but all these practices have crept in and blended with holy worship. You know, and man, under this influence, has let the enemy deceive him through the craftiness of the enemy. You know, 2 Chronicles 36:14, the people transgressing very much after all the abominations of the heathen, you know, polluting the house of Yahweh, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. You know, and also the names that I mentioned earlier, Baal, Lord, and El. You know, if we note who was in charge of the writings and translating the Bible from its original language, you know, talking about how man can be influenced and be corrupt. You know, if we note who had charge of this, the scribes, okay. I don't know if you all have heard that you know definition of who keeps record of the writings. Okay, who kept record of the writings? Okay, these were people assigned that were assigned the responsibility of the writings and record taking. Okay, and so everybody that that is assigned a responsibility don't necessarily adopt that responsibility in full honesty. Okay, that's what I want to get back to again. They don't necessarily adopt that responsibility in full honesty, even though that's what they are expected to do. They are expected to do that, but people don't always uphold their integrity, whether it be to the utmost or could it be mediocre, But think about the scandals and discovering of money launderings in the political system. Okay, when you have reports of people in position that use innocent taxpayers' money, they use the money in the fashion that it's not intended for. They go on lavish trips. They put their kids through college, and then after the fact, they get an interview and ask, do you feel any kind of way about it? No, I have no conscience about it. I don't feel bad about it at all. I feel good about it. I did what I wanted to do. Just no conscience, just corrupt. It's corrupt. And my point is, everybody assigned is not honest. Everybody assigned is not a good steward. And so that's how some of these scribes were. Okay. And so some of these scribes that were assigned the duty to record the word in their language, if you refer to 1 Chronicles 2:55, chapter 2, the 55th verse, you discover, a number of these scribes were the Kenites. Okay, and so let me just draw a map for you for the Kenites. The Kenites were people that were influenced by the Canaanites. The Canaanites were descendants of Cain. And you can see that by referring to Genesis chapter 15. Okay? And so the Kenites, not only were they people of Cain, people of the Canaanites, or influenced by the Canaanites, they were even influenced, and I'm taking this word influence as a broad meaning. It's a broad meaning here. They were also influenced by the Amalekites. Okay, the sons of Amalek, and we know how evil they were. Most of us know how evil they were. 1 Samuel 15. That's another reference. When Samuel was telling the Kenites to get away from those people. That's just another reference. And now you may question that, if you have people that tamper with the word, how does the word hold its own integrity, its own truth? Well, enough of the word is still intact for the truth to still be revealed to us. That's why Yeshua, he talked in parables. So basically, even if the enemy tries to take what he says out of context, the truth is still intact. He told the disciples, he said, when they asked him, why do you speak in parables? He said, because the knowledge of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. So they can try to twist it, but it's still there. The truth is still there. Because first of all, when they hear it, they're going to be thinking some way over there anyway. That's the corrupt people. But the people of his own, the sheep know his voice. They hear his voice. And so he was saying, the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Them who? The ones influenced by the enemy. He was basically saying they're not going to understand what I say, so they can't twist what I say. Though they may try, my word, my truth is still intact. Speaking of Yeshua, okay? And so when we have these certain words, titles and names, they have been substituted to us, talking about Lord and God and things of such, even though it don't seem that way that it's been substituted, because we've been saying it that way and taught to say it that way for so long. But through deeper analyzing of the scripture, we see how these substitutions align with words and titles and names given to the enemy. It's there. It's wide open there. You know, especially when you seek the deeper things. You know, the hidden things. You know, like I said, El is a Canaanite deity. Baal means Lord, the God of the Canaanites. You know, so you have Lord, and people say El Elyon, you're still using it. That's why I say Israel Yah, you know, because Yah is his name, not El. When you start saying Israel, that you're tagging on the Canaanite deity onto his name. Okay, that's the explanation in that, just to help somebody there. You know, but you know, Baal, and you know, he's known to be the primary enemy of Yahweh. The Yah of Israel. He's the primary enemy. Okay? Yet we have been programmed and taught to use the word Lord to call on Yahweh. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. That's why we don't have we have threads that we haven't severed, because we're still tied to it. We're still calling on it. Okay? But you know, we always talking about we want a real move. We need a move. We're expecting a real move. But you know, what do you think would really happen if all the people of Yahweh submitted to his will, his word, not the traditions? If we really submitted to his word, stop gravitating and trying to mix and blend these things with the paganism of the world, with the moral beliefs of the world. My. So guys, I hate to do this like that, but I'm gonna just cut it off. I'm gonna cut it off here. Okay. It's so much more I wanted to say. But for the sake of time, I gotta pause and stop somewhere. Okay, gotta pause and stop somewhere. And so, with that being said, that's where I'm gonna end this tonight. I hope this has indeed blessed you guys and gotten you your gears turning, so you can seek His face. That's the first initial move we need. For the people of Yah to humble ourselves and pray and seek His face. Then will Yahweh heal the land, heal His people. Okay, and so when those truths and lies, when those truths are given and those lies are exposed, it's definitely a need to act upon them. Don't just take it and stay. You know, once you learn something, you don't stay there. You increase in knowledge, and you not only increase in knowledge, but you also increase in discipline. You increase in faith, and you increase in the intimacy of the relationship that you have with Yah. Okay, and so that's what we're really working towards, to get to that place of intimacy. The word says that one day, this was Hosea. He prophesied. He said that one day, Yahweh's people will call him by his intimate name, not the mere regular name of these other Elohims, of the gods. He will have his perfect name that he has given. And so that lets you know also that the word has been tampered with, because if there was a true and intimate name, and then Yahweh used his prophet to tell the people that, okay, at one point my name has been called wrong. It's no longer going to be called a wrong name, but it's going to be called a correct, intimate name. It shows you there's a tamper right there. But like I said, it's enough truth in the word for the truth to be revealed to us. But have to dig deeper in the hidden things. It's there. The truth is there. Keep pressing, because I know there's some people that question the word. I know there's people that question the word because of the traditions that are given to us. The traditions don't line up. Like I said, the Easter Bunny and the Satan's calls, and you have all these other things that I'm not even gonna go in detail about. But it's questions there. The answers are found in the hidden things in the Word, the truth in the Word. But like I said, keep pressing, because it's many stumbles along the way that could cause you to deviate from the truth. But you have to keep pressing and trusting in Yahweh that He will lead and guide you into all truth. Okay? So it's okay to increase in knowledge, but come to the knowledge of the truth. Amen? All right, you guys, that's it for me tonight. I'm going to try to find a few family members and, chuckle and laugh with them before it gets too late. But you guys, I thank you for spending this time with me. You guys be blessed. Y'all have a great evening, a blessed and wonderful weekend as well. I speak blessings over all y'all's lives. I do. And I'm continually praying for you as well. Amen. And I ask that you do the same for me. Y'all be blessed. Love you guys.